Hey everyone! Okay, so public outcry, since there was no profit talk, then I guess I'm doing my own show. And decided to do a Q&A with eBay, Amazon questions. I'm not an expert, so your mileage may vary. Always, no matter what, even if it's a guru that's telling you things, always make sure you look things up yourself. Don't just take somebody's word for it, because when you get suspended, they don't really like, the answer. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Anyway, um, sorry. First time I've done one of these. So anyway, they don't really take the answer, of or excuse of, well, so and so told me, so I thought it was okay. That doesn't work. So anyway, and then I also wanted to talk about like resources that I use for my business, and then also resources that I know other people use for their business that I don't use for whatever reason. Not because there's anything wrong with them, I just don't. So I know there was some specific questions, and with any kind of live show, there's always a delay. So I'll try to get to them, as soon as I can. So let me get over to the chat. Adam asked, why aren't you an expert? Because I don't know everything. And I've only been doing eBay for almost 4 years now. And Amazon, I've only been doing FBA for since January of 2014. I started my first shipment January, like the first week of January, and I didn't actually get my items active until the end of February. And that's why I always try to like reassure people when they're first doing their shipments, their very first time. I'm like, look, I cried twice, like ugly cried, like sobbed twice doing my first shipment to Amazon. It took 2 months for my items to go live from the time that I started the shipment until it actually like became active. I went through hazmat twice on the same shipment. So anyway, let me try to scroll up. There's a lot going on in the chat, so give me a second since I don't have a moderator to figure out what's going on. And if you have a question, just do that thing where you put, question in capital letters and then put your question. That way it's easy to spot in the chat. We got a lot of people here. It's our normal folks. Thanks for coming to watch me. I'm really nervous, so don't see any questions yet. And okay, so I know that there were some questions over in Facebook that Sue had posted already, and she wanted to know about ways to store your documents or your photos, so that way you can actually work while you're on the road. So what I personally use is Dropbox. I take my daughter to places that are like play parks or whatever, and you can be there for hours, like the trampoline park, or yesterday we were at a go-kart laser tag place, and most of the time they have Wi-Fi. So what I'll do is I'll take my pictures that I've already taken, which I use an iFi card, which is a memory card that you put in your camera, and it sends your photos to your computer automatically, so you don't have to like upload them off of your camera. So those are really inexpensive. You can get them on eBay. I actually found mine at the Goodwill outlet one of the few times that I went, and so I paid like less than $1 for it since it's so light. But those are very helpful if you don't have like a wireless Wi-Fi enabled camera. So I take my pictures from where they've been deposited on my computer, and I actually stick them over in Dropbox. Dropbox gives you a certain amount of gigabytes that you can store for free. I think it's 2 gigabytes. But if you ever get a Samsung device, you automatically get like 50 gigabytes for a year. And since all we use are Samsung devices, I have like 2 Samsung tablets and 3 Samsung phones. I have like 150 gigabytes of space on Dropbox. I know that with the new Microsoft Windows 10, they have OneDrive that they're trying to push, and I believe you have 100 gigabytes of space on OneDrive. If you have Amazon Prime, you get unlimited photo storage for free. So, I mean, that's just part of your Prime. You get it for free. So you can actually upload all your pictures to Prime if you wanted to. But I just prefer Dropbox because it's easy to move things back and forth. And then Sue mentioned Google Docs. I don't use Google Docs a lot, but I don't do a lot of listing information. I don't really see like where you would use Google Docs for your listings, because you would essentially just make a draft, would be my assumption. But I have used Google Docs for things that I was working on, like papers and stuff, so that way I could access them, you know, from any computer. And those are free. Let's see. Will I be missed if I'm not on the show this week? Oh, that's Adam. You're an attention whore. Let's see. Let me scroll back up because things are moving kind of quickly over here in the chat. How do you get ungated in grocery? I was already grandfathered in to a lot of the categories in Amazon, but I don't know what their new current requirements are. I know it used to be 3 receipts with 10 items on there, but I'm not sure. That's something that you could ask Adam or Bia or Jameson, any of the people that do ungating. I'm sure they know, or even if you just Googled it. Let's see. Okay. All right, no questions over there. See, you guys said that you would have questions for me, and you aren't posting them. You're talking to each other. So let me go back to Facebook because I know there was questions there. Sorry, Chad is asking what happened for Profit Talk, and I'm just letting him know there was no show tonight because Danica wasn't home. Okay. Next question over on Facebook in the Profit Talk group. Where did it go? There was a whole list of them. Okay. There was a question about deciding if used books should go to Amazon or eBay. That really could apply to anything. When you're deciding on what should go to Amazon or eBay, I know a lot of people just assume that everything should go to Amazon, but that's not really the case. If you just simply use your app, like your Amazon seller app, and look and see like what the ranks are, what the prices are going for, and then check over on Camel or on Keepa and just see what the real pricing is, because sometimes I see people posting things and it's like there's only one item and it's priced at $150, but if you really look at the history of that item, it just sold last month for 20 bucks. You know, there's just like one weird person that priced it high for whatever reason they did. I always try to cross compare. So I'll look it up on Amazon, and then I'll also check over on eBay and just kind of see what they're going for, because I generally have the thought that things are going to go for at least double what they normally go for on eBay. So if they're consistently selling for 30 bucks on eBay, then I feel comfortable in thinking that it's going to sell for like 60 bucks on Amazon. But you really just have to look. Like there was I'm trying to think, I had an item that I bought the day before yesterday, and I looked it up on Amazon, and it was selling for, you know, $20 or $30, but when I looked it up on eBay, they were actually doing better on eBay. They were selling for like close to $50. So it's really just doing your research and cross-comparing them. You kind of have to look at both. I have a question about what is a realistic profit margin when you're doing retail arbitrage. I think it really depends on your volume. I know when I was doing retail arbitrage back in April and May, I had a much higher profit margin than I think most people that are doing Amazon all the time have, because I was finding things really cheap. I was paying $2, $3, $5 for stuff, and I was selling it for, you know, quadruple or 6 times or 8 times or 10 times what I paid for it. So it was working out really well for me. I don't know if that's like something I could have sustained at keeping a profit margin that was about 50% was what I was coming out with. I had a 50% profit margin on the items that I sent in. I spent $800 on inventory doing RA, and I sold $7,000 in items from, you know, in sales from those items. And then my profit was about $3,500. So I think that's great, you know, for what I did. I don't know if that's something that I could have sustained. It really just depends on where you're sourcing things, how low you're getting them for, and if it's something that you can keep up with in your area. I always get concerned about RA because it seems like everybody's doing it from the same stores, and generally nationwide stores are clearancing the same stuff. They have the same items that are going on sale. One store might have it 70% off while one store has it 30% off, but eventually everything kind of catches up. And I think that's where like the race to the bottom comes in, because those people that got it at 70 or 90% off are totally going to beat you out if you paid, you know, if you got it on clearance for 30 or 50% off. So let me check the chat. Items in at auctions. Hey, what does that even mean? I've always wondered, like, what am I reading it wrong? Like, I don't items in at auctions. Help me figure that out. Because, anyways, they were asking who's your favorite reseller on YouTube. I watched several videos. I like the scavenger life, because it's just different stuff that they have. It's things that I don't sell. I don't sell those kind of things. I really like Orange Elephant. I like Brock and his family. I think they're amazing people. I watch Chad, the Golden Finger Picker. I'll watch his videos because he's always picking up something different that I just don't, you know, see a lot of. He's got an eye for things that are really interesting, and I think that's different. I used to watch a lot of Jeff Davidson, but he hasn't been putting out videos lately. I know he's been super duper busy. And I know I'm missing people that I watch. I should probably actually go look over at my history and see what's there. But I don't really have a favorite. It's just I don't know. I know I subscribe to like 59 channels, but I couldn't name them off to you what they are. Let's see. Scrolling up. Oh, I wanted to say hi to Donna. I haven't seen her in a while. Hi, Donna. Nice to see you. Da, da, da. You need to have invoices for manufacturer. Okay, question about thoughts about the new defect rating. Did any of you read the email that came out today from the CEO about basically them being very seller motivated, that the new system was put in place specifically in response to seller complaints about the previous defect rating system, and how they were really trying to, you know, get the back of the sellers and really make it go back to where they were embracing the sellers as opposed to the sellers being the enemy. That was a really interesting read. If you haven't read it, I would suggest that you take a look at that email. It was very encouraging. It seems like the new CEOs put a lot of thought into, you know, what's best for the sellers and the customers, as opposed to, you know, the way it was before, where they really just seemed like they didn't give a crap about us. Let's see. And then that was another thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, and that was a question here too about record keeping and resources that you use. But let me answer the question about Windows 10. I did upgrade to Windows 10. I really like it. It is like 90% Windows 7 and like 10% Windows 8. I really like the features. I like the built-in notification system that they have, that it's almost like your phone. When you get your notifications for your Facebook, you get your notifications for your eBay sales, you're getting notifications for emails. It's really, it's like you have your computer, but it's a little bit of a phone type feature. And I really like it. I like the way it's set up. I like the way it looks. I think it's very functional. So, I mean, if you haven't tried it, give it a shot, because I really like it. Maggie was asking about the getting approved for grocery, and was asking, so you have to buy items before you can get approved. Yes, you need to buy items before you get approved. There's a couple categories that you can get approved in without having receipts. Watches is one of them. All you really have to do is upload a photo with the pure white background, and you can get those directly off of the Amazon. They don't want, it doesn't have to be your photo. It just has to be a photo, like, that what the photos are supposed to look like and that they're up to standard. But yeah, generally you have to have the items before you can get approved, because you have to have the receipts. I know a lot of people used to use, like, they would go buy $10, like the dollar items, the travel items that are at the store, and they would buy 10 of shampoo and then 10 of a toothpaste and 10 of, something else, so that they could get approved for the health and beauty. But I don't know what the new rules are. I haven't tried to get approved for anything. I had a question about, did it have to pay for Windows 10? No, Windows 10 is free. All you have to do is, in the corner of your computer, everybody's probably seen the little window looking icon that pops up and says, you can upgrade to Windows 10, reserve your copy. And you just press that, and eventually after a week or so, it'll pop up saying, your Windows 10 is available. And you just upgrade. It took about an hour for it to all process through. But yeah, it's free. They've always kind of said invoices for the approvals, but generally what people did is you just, at the bottom of your receipt, because on your receipts, you were to cross out your prices. Those were not supposed to be shown. You need to have a clear showing of the name of the store, and then you would, either in Paint or whatever program you wanted to use, you could type in your actual name, and I believe it was phone number, and just put it on the bottom of the receipt. I know that's what the rules were before, but I don't know what they are now. What is an automatic decision that a book is not good enough for Amazon? I don't sell books, Sue. You really should talk to Maureen. Maureen is like the book lady. So I can't give you very good information about books. I would say that it's the same process as any other thing. You check the prices, you check the rank, you look over on eBay, see if they're selling over there and what they're selling for, and you just make a decision off of pricing and the sell-through rate. And the way I get a sell-through rate on an item is I look it up and I see how many are available. This is on eBay. Look it up and see how many are available, and then I look at the completed, so that's the total that sold and didn't sell, and then I look at the solds. And so I take the sold number and the completed number, and that'll kind of give you an idea of how many sell. If there were 300 that ended and only 20 sold, that's going to be a slow sell for you. You got to be pretty competitive for that item. But if there were 300 completed and 225 of them sold, and then you look on Amazon and they're all penny books, where basically all they're getting is a penny plus the $3.99 shipping, but on eBay they're selling for, you know, $10, obviously you're going to put it on eBay. But that's kind of the process with any item. And, you know, there are sometimes like that I know people send things into Amazon just because they don't want them at their house anymore. They don't want to store it. They don't want it there. It's just really easier just to process it, put it in a box, send it to Amazon, let them deal with it, than to have 300 books sitting in your closet, you know, that you're making $5 on each one, and you have to find it every time you got to ship something out. But yeah, ask Maureen. Maureen is what I consider, she's my book expert. So. Drianne's saying that it's still receipts, so I'm thinking, yeah, that you can still probably get receipts and just you need to make sure you print your name and your phone number on them. Is phone number or is it address? I know you have to put some personal information on there. Do you foresee getting ungated a more strict process in the future? That was Chad. I've always seen ungating getting more strict in the future. I thought when they did the mass like ungating process earlier in the year, where it was like it seemed like anybody and their dog could sell things, I noticed the catalog went to crap. There was a ton of just bad listings that just didn't qualify to be where they were, and it made it really complicated trying to list something. Paul and I were talking about that recently with like the Wiis. You could sell a Wii for a decent amount of money. The problem is like I have a Wii that is in really good condition. It has the box, it has everything that came with it, it has the instructions, and I mean basically it's like new, even though I put it in like very good condition. And I priced it accordingly. But there are all of these people under me with much lower prices that are selling product, you know, their Wii that doesn't have the remote, doesn't have the power plug, doesn't have. When you list something, it's supposed to have every single thing that the product came with. You can't list things that are incomplete. So now I'm trying to compete with my product that's up to standard with 100 different people that are selling something that is missing things, doesn't work properly. You can't list things like that. So I've noticed a lot of that happening since the mass like approval in ungating from earlier in the year. It was like the people got ungated, but they never read the rules. And I always thought if they were going to ungate, they needed to have it like where the people needed to make a listing and do it properly. You know, like they had to prove that they knew how to do the pictures, how to do the keywords, how to do a title, how to do. I see so many things now that say like where people have put condition notes as the description of the item, like you would do on eBay. You don't do that on Amazon. That's a catalog. It's a standard, you know, description and title of an item. It doesn't change just because you have a different condition. I mean, that's eBay mentality on Amazon. And so I thought that they should have done more of like a do you know what you're doing test to get people ungated instead of just sending in some receipts or getting, you know, a service to ungate you. I mean, you got ungated, but you know what the heck you're doing. Let's see. Yeah, Tidwell is saying that it seems like all the used electronics are that way. And yeah, and they're not supposed to be like that. If you sell a VCR, it's supposed to have the remote. If you sell a camera and on the description it says the camera has, you know, a power, you know, a transfer cable and a memory card and a case, you can't list your item and say, oh, camera only. No, it doesn't work like that. You're supposed to have all of the stuff. Let's see. No, Brian, Windows 10 does not suck. But I know you're all on Linux's butt. Do you have business cards? I do. But they're not business cards. they're things that I put in my actual eBay boxes. They're like this. Hang on, let me move so I can see if I'm showing you. They basically have the information of how to contact me. This was something that I did as a result of the previous defect problem, because I didn't want to get defects for no reason. And then on the back side, I actually have a coupon for return customers, and you can set those up in the promotion manager. You can set up coupons for them to use. If they click on the link, it'll take them to your store, and then the items will be discounted per their promotional rate. But as far as business cards, I don't have them. I know other people do. They have cards that they give to pawn shops or stores or whatever, if they're thinking that they might be able to kind of source that way. But yeah, I don't have cards. But if I know a lot of people just get them from Vistaprint. That's a really cheap place to get them from, is Vistaprint. I have my husband's business cards are from there. I have cards that are mommy cards. They just say like my name, and it says, you know, like mommy of, and then my kids' names, and then it has my phone number. I made those up, you know, to give to like moms at the school or whatever. But yeah, I got all those at Vistaprint. Julie is saying that Windows 10 is very glitchy. I haven't had any problems with it, but you never know. Everything's always glitchy. I don't think it doesn't matter what it is, it's gonna have bugs and glitches. Chad is asking if the Windows 10 upgrade is just from 8. No, it's from 7 or 8. Because I have 7, I never did have 8. Alright, so then while we catch up and try to get some more questions over in the chat, I was going to talk about some of the resources that I use to track my business. Like for my mileage, I use it's called My Car Tracks. It's free. It tracks, you can set it up where it can either always be on and it'll automatically start tracking. You can set it up where it'll automatically start tracking if you move over 6 miles an hour, or it'll automatically start tracking your mileage if you hook up to Bluetooth, because most of the time when people get in their car, their phone hooks up to Bluetooth, and then that would trigger the My Car Tracks that that it needs to track your mileage. Or you can have it set up to turn on if it's on the charger, or you can just like manually turn it on. And I like it because it actually has a website that is connected to it that backs up all of your information, so it's not just, a phone app. I did try Mile IQ, and it's free for the first 40 trips that you have, which you'll be surprised at how quickly that runs out. I think I ran out of that in like 3 or 4 days, because it tracks everything. Like if you go down the street and come back, like it's tracking. So it's great that it tracks it. The problem that I had with it is it ran my battery down because it's running all the time. It's always on, and it's always got your GPS on. And anytime that you've ever used your GPS, it's going to run your battery. So I found myself turning it off because it was running my battery when I was in a store trying to source and, look things up, which uses my battery anyway. And then I'd forget to turn it back on. So it was kind of like pointless that it was automatic. But those are 2 of the mileage trackers I know, but I use My Car Tracks just because it's free and I like the way it functions. Another resource that I use to track for my business is I do use GoDaddy. I know a lot of people use GoDaddy and they talk about GoDaddy, but I had to bring it up because it's something that I use. Although it wasn't all-inclusive for what I wanted to track, which I wanted to track my profits. And you're not going to get that on GoDaddy, because GoDaddy is going to have also all of your expenses. So essentially it has your net, your net profit? Is that what it is? Like after everything's all said and done, after you have your mileage deductions and after you have your cost of goods, and after you have your supply purchases and all of that stuff, then it shows your profit. But it doesn't show me like how much I'm actually making on my items, and that's what I really wanted to know. So what I did is I bought Easy Auction Tracker, which is a spreadsheet for Excel, but it has a macros in there, and it has an automatic where it puts a token. You got to get the token from your eBay, and then it'll automatically pull your sales. It pulls your fees. It pulls your PayPal fees, your shipping that you received, and also the exact, like the actual shipping that you paid. All of that information gets pulled automatically and put into the spreadsheet, and all you have to do is enter your cost of goods. There is a tab on there for mileage. If you want to manually enter your mileage, you can. And there's also a tab on there for expenses, like, you know, if you buy paper or you buy toner or whatever for your office supplies and that kind of thing. I don't use those. I really just wanted to know what my profit was, like my actual item profit. So I use that. Recently for Amazon, I started using Inventory Lab just within the last month, and I really like it. It has multiple things. It does let you list and create create shipments and things, but really what I wanted it for was for accounting purposes. Because when you put your item in and you put how much you want for it, you're listing it, basically you're making it active. You also put your cost of goods, where you purchased it from, the date that you purchased it, and then you can also put reminders. So if you have an item that has an expiration date, you can put that in there, that, you know, this date and that's the expiration date, and it will actually send you it'll let you know, it'll alert you during that time that, you know, this item is going to expire and you need to, you know, do something with it. So I've started using that. It also has Scoutify, which is a actual scanner for Amazon, and I really like it. It is much faster than Amazon, but just like any other scanner, like ScanPower or Profit Bandit, they don't get all of the information because Amazon doesn't send it to them. So you always have to kind of check and make sure that you're getting all the info. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, like what you're scanning, you know, and the results of what you're getting. But I really like the scanner. It is really fast. So I do use it, and it has a scanning history, which is really easy to go back and look at. But yeah, so I use that. It's $49 a month, which seems like a lot, but it's a deduction, and, you know, it's a tax deduction, and I wanted it for accounting purposes. And, you know, accounting for Amazon can be really complicated because there's so many fees and different things, and items that get removed, things that get sent back, refunds, and stuff like that. And if you're trying to do all of that yourself, it's really not something that I would keep up with. I would just, I would try it and do it for a week, and then I would fail, and then I'd have no information. So, Angie wanted to know if my Car Tracks was only for Android. I don't know. I have an Android, so hang on. I can get my iPhone and see if it's on there. I use this thing so little, I don't even know where the App Store is. There we go. Let's see. I am buying everyone at least one item from Etsy stores. I only have sold one item on there, but I want support. It is amazing what you can find on there. Well, that's nice. Judy says that she's buying things off of Etsy. I've only ever listed, I think, 4 things on Etsy, and I sold 2. So that's pretty good. I don't generally have items that even qualify to be over there. I did sell cross-stitch kit and something else. Can't remember what it was. I have one thing right now on there, which is a cat tea kettle, and It hasn't sold, but I think I have it priced too high. I have it priced at like $75, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna bother having it on Etsy, I'm gonna make some money. But yeah, it's not selling. Let's see, my car tracks. Yeah, that's what it's called. I think I thought I saw somebody one time say on Amazon, on Apple, that it was called something else. But I don't know. Do we have any other questions? Because I've already run like 30 minutes. That's what I said I was going to do. Because I didn't really know what I was going to talk about all by myself. Oh, okay. There was a question about balancing your life, like basically balancing your home life with your business. I sold something. I don't know what it was. I've gotten better at that. Oh my god, I sold that for 7. Oh, okay. I've gotten better at that just because I've started being very structured about when I start and when I stop working. And since I got a helper, that actually helps me too. Because when he's here, I'm very focused on, what I'm doing at the time. Sorry, there was somebody asked me a question about they wanted to buy something cheaper. So when he's here, I really get a lot more done. It's like the 2 days that Patrick is here, I get done what I would have normally taken 2 weeks to do, because I stay very focused and he's processing things, because he takes my pictures, he crops them, and he takes all the tags off of stuff, and then he helps me whenever I'm processing Amazon things, getting all the stickers off and putting the labels on and getting them into the appropriate boxes. That was one thing, like, if you ever hire someone to help you, it really is hard to, you have to give away a lot of power, because, like, for instance, I don't really like the pictures that he takes. Not that the pictures are bad. They're not bad pictures. They're just not my pictures, if that makes sense. And so I had to really let go of that control, because he's still taking good pictures. So I can't sit here and like try to be a perfectionist on those things, because then there really isn't a point in having a helper. If I'm going to sit there and be behind his back all the time, well, there's really no point in him being here, because I might as well just do it myself. So I had to really let go of my, it's almost like, I'm sure you know that with any part of your life where nobody does it as good as you do, whether it's like your dishes and your husband doesn't put them away the way they're supposed to be, or, oh, he doesn't sort the laundry properly, or they don't, you kind of have to give up that, control if you're ever going to get anybody to help you do anything, because nobody's ever going to do it your exact way, because nobody's you. So that was something that I had to learn to deal with, and he does great. He does a great job. It has helped me a lot. I have made a ton of money just by hiring him. He has paid for himself tenfold. So it's really great. If I could teach him how to list, that would be amazing. But I don't know if I would ever let go of that much control of my business, even though I'm sitting right here, like I'm 3 feet away. And I think that really helps. Being in the same room, like I can see him. He's like right next to me when when we're working. So it's not like I just leave the house. So that helps a lot. So if you ever hire anyone, try to set up kind of a tight working area. That way you can kind of monitor what's going on without looking like you're constantly behind their back, because that's annoying and nobody likes that. Let's see. Uh-oh. Did my thing freeze? Oh no. Am I talking now? Well, it's going on my side. I don't know if it's going on your guy's side. Nobody's saying anything. But I just talked a whole lot, so I hope it actually came through. Recommendation of an inexpensive camera. My camera was inexpensive. My camera, I have a Canon, I'm trying to look for it. Oh, where it is. I have a Canon SX150. I got it at Target. Target is a really great place to buy your cameras. Target discontinues, like they redo their camera modulars, or planogram, like at least once a year, but it's normally twice a year. But they put those things on clearance super duper cheap. So I got my camera, it was normally $229. They had it on clearance for 99 bucks, and then you also got a $30 gift card if you bought it. So I paid $69 for my camera. And I really like it. It works great. I actually bought a Nikon at the thrift store for $5.99. It's a little Nikon point and shoot, but it takes really great pictures. So don't like pass over cameras just because you think they're old or whatever. You don't really think about, like, as long as it has a good white balance and it has a good reaction, and you know the flash is not blinding everything, you don't have to get a super duper expensive camera. Like I mean, like that little Nikon that was $5.99. If my Canon died tomorrow, I could totally just use that camera and it would take fine pictures. I think sometimes people get to be perfectionists about their pictures. But there's so many resources like PhotoFuse. I know Sue uses paper scissors that, you know, will take out the backgrounds of your pictures. So as long as the picture of the actual item is good, it really doesn't matter what's going on in the back. You know, you can always, you know, burn that background. Photo scissors was $20. You know, Sue, I got the photo scissors when they were doing it for free, but I tried it that one time and I didn't like it. So maybe I should give it a better shot because I haven't been very happy with PhotoFuse lately. I don't know what's been going on with it, but it doesn't work as well. Let's see. I think that's it. I think that's all. Does anybody have any more questions that you need to know right now? Sue asks, where's the first place you look in the thrift store? And she said, do you have a niche now that you've quit parting things out? I don't. What I've been looking for in the thrift stores now, I have started way looking more for Amazon stuff, just because it's so. But I mean, I am also looking for eBay stuff, and it's just kind of there. They're intertwined. You know, I'm looking at the shelf. It could be eBay stuff. It could be Amazon stuff. It's not like I'm being specific. I generally go back, and the way that the stores are set up is I normally end up first over in the toy section, and there's like toys and sporting goods, and they have them in the same area. And so I'll look first at the games and check to see if they have any sealed games. I always check on the sealed puzzles, and I scan those for Amazon. I always look for a hidden Mickey Bears because that's something that you look for. And then I also look for the Thai Beanie Boos because they're really easy to spot with their big old eyes, because some of those are worth a lot of money. There are some Beanie Boos that are worth like $150 without the tags, used, scratched up eyes. I mean, go take a look at eBay, look up Beanie Boos, and then like sort them by highest price and like used, so that way you get a better idea, and see what they're going for, because there's a lot that you can really sell, you know. And there's some, like I bought one that was just like a little duck, and I sold it for 30 bucks. I only noticed it because its big old eyes were looking at me. So I always check on stuff like that and vintage toys. So I look at those first. Then I'll look over in the sporting goods section, and I always look for those supposed to be like roller blades that are also trick blades. Like they're it's almost like they're missing a wheel in the middle, and it's so that they can slide down stuff. Like whenever they do their tricks and they're sliding across a handrail or whatever they're doing, I look for those. Ramon recently got me looking for softballs because he was saying that they're really expensive for him to buy. And it was really funny because like the very next day, I found 3 bags of softballs. So I went ahead and bought them even though I didn't know anything about them. But it's always good to like learn something new, you know. And if you have to spend $10 on something you don't know anything about, it's like paying $10 for an education in that item because you're going to take the time to research it, and then you'll know from there on out, oh, well, I need this size or that color or that brand or whatever. It's almost like Littlest Pet Shops, and people are always saying, oh, can somebody help me identify this? Really, Littlest Pet Shops, the best thing to do, if you get a box of them, take the time, sit down, research them all. Sit there and go, brown dog, heart eyes, you know, and look it up and find it, because all you have to do is you have to do it that one time, do the research, you will never have to do it again, and you'll know, and you'll be able to spot it right off, like, oh man, that's a great buy right there, or this is a bunch of crap and I don't need to get this. So I look in sporting goods. One thing I've been wanting to try to pay attention to is like the baseball gloves, because people have been talking about those. But I just haven't taken the time to look at them, but I know some of them are supposed to be worth really good money, so that might be something I might look into more closely in the future. And I always check for roller skates. Quad rollers can sell for really decent money. The ones that I've bought recently, only paid like $3.99 or $4.99 for them, and they'll sell for $40, $50. I sold a pair for $60. You know, I mean, just take a look at them. All you have to do is look it up. I mean, they have the name on them and everything. After I go to that section, then what comes up next is going to be, they always have like the hair curlers and that kind of stuff. And I don't really buy hair curlers a lot anymore, but there are ones that I do keep an eye out for, because some of the like the Carusos can still sell for really good money. The Remington tight curlers are still a good buy. So I always check on those. I know that the Lady Chic steam ones are supposed to still be a good buy. So I check over there in that section. It's normally a pretty small section, so it's not hard to spot. After that, I'll look at like the office supplies, because that's the next thing that they have set up in the stores. You can always look for, I check for the lease over there for some of the webcam, and that it can be so hard to figure out which ones are worth money because they all look the same. I bought a webcam today, but it's not actually a webcam. It's a security cam that you can use with your smartphone. It was $5.99, and they sell for $38. It was new in the box. So I check over there. Also, what I check for in the office supply section is the big calculators, the accounting calculators. Some of those accounting calculators sell for a lot of money, and they're generally priced pretty low, like anywhere from $5 to $10 at the store, and they can sell for anywhere from like $50 to $100, depending on which one you have. So I check on those because it seems like people sleep on them, like they don't pay attention. And Drian said I'm choppy. Chop, 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 chop. Okay, Dwayne said it's better. What else? After that, then there are the coffee cups, and I always look at the coffee cups. I just kind of scan them and make sure there isn't one hiding anywhere, but I really think the stores know all about the Starbucks mugs now. They don't really put those out anymore. Those go to auction. But you never know, and I always just take a quick look-see. probably like 30 seconds. And then I take a look at the wood items, like the wood blocks, and like for knives, because any of the Cutco ones are definitely something that bring in good money. The 6-star wood block, it's for the Ronco knives. I don't know why they do it this way, but if you buy the Ronco knives, you don't get a block. And if you don't buy the block at the time that you purchase the knives, then you have to basically call them, say that you want to order one, and then they call you back at some time within the next week. So you can sell those used for like $60 if you see the 6-star cutlery wood blocks. And then after that, I look at the appliances, but I don't really look at them like I used to anymore. Like, I haven't bought an appliance in a really long time, because there's just not really anything there that... Oh, that's a lie. I did buy one. I bought a Villaware 4-slot Mickey Mouse shaped waffle maker. It makes mini Mickey Mouses, like little Mickey Mouses. I look for those, and I look for the... I'm going to say Peasel, and I'll say Peasel if I want to. I don't know. Everybody keeps correcting me. It's supposed to be like Pitzel, or I don't really care. Anyway, they're crumb cake makers. Those sell for good money. I'll look at that, and then electronics, and then I go check out the media, and then I leave. So I'll generally spend like an hour to an hour and a half in the store. Anyway, I think that's all the questions. I don't see any more. People are just talking to each other. But, alright guys, so if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to wait like 2 more minutes, and then I think I'm going to close this down for the night. But thanks for coming and watching, because I've never done one of these before, and I wasn't really sure what the heck I was going to talk about, but here I am. So I'm just waiting for any more questions, and then I guess we'll see you tomorrow on the morning show with Resell Ronan on the Reseller Wake Up. We should all be there. And yeah, because he's making up for this morning. I was like, tomorrow's not Wednesday, but he's doing Tuesday, so. Alright, so I think we are all caught up. So anyway, we'll see you guys in the morning on the Reseller Wake Up. And thanks for coming, thanks for watching, thanks for being nice. Love you guys.